Hey guys, it's Brian here, and I'm going to be going over the CTF Mini Week 2 recap. I'm going to try to go through this pretty quick. I don't want to make the videos too long and just get straight to the point. I also include timestamps later for when I'm doing the problems. So to start off, these are something new that I found through the NCL. They made a resource guide in which lists a bunch of tools and gives a brief summary on all the topics. You also have links to their season schedule, YouTube, Trove, where you can learn more about a certain topic, or they can introduce you to one. You can join their Discord. You can learn about the rules, gymnasium, and war season. Then within each topic, they have learning resources, tools that you can use. They provide a lot. I'll also be coming out with my own tools list that I've been using. This will be a really good resource for further learning outside of practice. Or if you find trouble. So yeah, I would highly recommend looking at this on your own time and using it when need be. Then the second one is the link to their YouTube channel because they actually come out with YouTube tutorials and they do lives that go over topics in the NCL. So if you
SQL or
go
SQL
to
is
how I
the
got
most
here
popular
was
language
I
used by
click the link, home, playlist, live tutorials,
SQL or
and
SQL
you
is
see
the
that they
most
do a bunch of
popular language used
tutorials
by
on
databases. It's frequently going to be
cybersecurity
used by
topics.
websites and apps,
So for
and it can
example,
store
one of them is
basically any type of data that you
forensics,
can think
log
of. There
analysis,
might be, settings,
and for
errors,
today's
even credentials
purposes, open source
of
intelligence
information
basics.
for open source intelligence.
So here he goes
There is
over
something called Google dorking, which
the
is
keywords I was
effectively
talking about,
using
the Google
special
search
keywords
operators.
within at
Yeah, so
security.
it gives
You
intro,
have to be able to understand.
and he also does some problems in the NCL as well.
So what I'm going to do. So
So
their
this is really
website
good
is a
for
service
in-depth
that
review and
at bug.
further
Do some
learning if you want
research.
to learn more
Google
about
might tell you,
open
"Hey,
source
I found a
intelligence, or
similar
you just
image
want
on this
more than
website,"
what I teach.
and maybe.
And they have a bunch of other videos for each topic, which is nice. And then, as always, I always link the video that they made to each topic to make it easier so you don't have to go to their YouTube page each time. So I'm not going to go over any problems in the open source intelligence because I've seen so many people do it already, and it's pretty straightforward. You're just mostly using Google and any data from the public source to the best of your ability to answer the question. Now onto cryptography. So to talk about cryptography, it's basically the study of secure communication techniques that allow the sender and intended recipient of a message to view its contents. So to get a brief intro, I'll
instead of
recommend
me.
you don't have to watch the whole video, but I guess if you're really new to cryptography and you've never taken the class or you just don't know what it is, this is a pretty good introduction into it. They go over numeric, binary, transposition, substitutions. So you get introduced to common ciphers and just the topic in general. And she also gets pretty good advice for anyone wanting to go into the cryptography field. Although the quality will lack here and there, it gets fixed. And then this is for people who maybe want to go into cryptography or think cryptography is interesting, or just want to expand their cybersecurity skills in general, because base knowledge of cybersecurity will be helpful just in general and for future CTFs. So over here, this website has a lot of tools. It has courses, books, and activities for you to use so you can learn cryptography more. It even has websites that are like the gymnasium that where you can practice solely cryptography challenges. And it's free too, which is nice. And then here, I heard about this course a lot for an intro to cryptography. So if anyone's like still lost in cryptography or just wants to like get a nice base knowledge, I would highly recommend this course. I've seen it recommended all over Reddit and it's free too. And then I have some tools listed here that you'll be using during the competition for especially this last one. I've been using here and there for the NCO and it's helped me solve a couple of problems because they like to use this tool a lot to mask some images. And then decode that for video is a really good cryptography site for either identifying or decrypting ciphers. And the second link here is actually their symbol list, which um, when you'll see when you extract a image, it won't give you the flag. It may or may not give you the flag right away, and it might be decrypted with symbols. And here you can look through the list for a lot of common symbols, and if this doesn't work, then you can use Google Images. And I'm actually going to go over the steganography problems in cryptography. So I'm going to do that here. I'm only going to go over the fourth one, and I'll leave you guys to do Stego 3 on your own. So here we have this image, and since I know that NCL likes to use the Digital Invisible Ink Toolkit a lot, I'm going to first try that tool. If that doesn't work, then I'll have to refer to other steganography programs, which may happen. This in past competitions, all the algorithms inside the Digital Ink Toolkit have not worked, and I had to resort to other programs either via GitHub or use something like StegHide. So I want to go in my downloads folder and launch my Digital Invisible Ink Toolkit. And just remember to launch it in Linux. This is how the command line looks. First you want to type java space dash jar space the file name. And here you go, it'll start from there. And always make sure to download the image first, and to also create an empty file. Can do it in the downloads. You want to create empty file because you want to write, because if there's two images in one file, you need to place that other image that's hidden somewhere else so you can view it. So I'm just going to name this test 1. So I'm going to go back to my program here and go to the decode section because I want to see what's inside of here. So first I'm going to select the steg4.bmp because that's the one I want to select. And again, this is just the first approach I take because I know they like to use this tool a lot. But for other problems, if this tool doesn't work, then we'll resort to other methods. So I want to view this, make sure I got the right image, and then I want to write it to the empty file that I created earlier. And then, now what we do is just try it step by step. Usually I don't use dynamic, these never work for me, so I always skip those. These are going to be your 4 main algorithms, so if each of these don't work, then I'll resort to using another method. So first I'm going to try battlestag. That didn't work. Next I'm going to try blind hide. That didn't work. Filter first. That didn't work. Hide and seek. Okay, hide and seek worked. Nice. And instead of changing the file extension or looking at the file and trying to decipher what it will be, we can first check if it's an image by using this tool right here. By clicking get image and using the test 1, it comes in with a built-in viewer. So we don't have to change the file extension at the end to try to guess if it's like a PNG or it's a GIF. So we can first try this, and if this doesn't work, then we can look at the file type in the terminal to see if maybe it's a text document or it's a PDF. So let's first try this. And now we see this is a image hidden inside of that. And now we see that we have symbols here. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to refer back to decode.frio where I had the symbols list. Because now I have symbols, so I'm going to see if it's in the common symbol list first before using Google. So I'm just going to type in the search bar symbol list. And then I'm looking for, oh, this is in French. Translate. Yeah, if the translate doesn't go automatically, just click the right flag over here and then it'll translate for you. Since this website comes originally in French. And I want to go here, symbol cipher list. It look like this. And then I'm just going to search through to see if I find anything either close to or that resembles any of these symbols. So I'm just going to look. No. So actually, I mean, I found one symbol here. So let's try, oh, I actually found two symbols, yeah. So let's try this one first. So it looks like, yeah. So it looks like it's this symbol list. So let's try typing it and see if we get anything out of it. Where is this thing? Oh, there we go. So now I'm just gonna enter the symbols one by one to decode it. Gonna put a space since it's different words, so we don't confuse it or get confused. Let's try to decrypt it. There is no spoon. I wonder if this is something. I don't think so. Actually, see anything that resembles that. So let's try there is no spoon. First we gotta check the MD file sum. So I think we can actually, let me open up a different terminal. Oh yeah, so there's actually a program in Linux that can check the MD sum file for you by using this command md5 sum compute and check messages file. So I want to do md5 sum, and then I'm gonna go back in that downloads folder since test one. Okay, so we got the md5 sum right here. This is a nice quick way of doing it in the terminal so that way you don't have to search a website for it. So let's see if this works. Nice, it does. And the hidden message was there is no spoon. Let's see if this works. Nice. So yeah, that's how you complete Stego 4. And let me actually go over cryptography problem that people had trouble with. So yeah, that's how you do that problem. And now I'm gonna go over a cryptography problem that people had trouble with. So first, I'm gonna pull up the cipher identifier to see if this can help me. So I'm now looking at these two. So it has numbered letters, dashes, and periods and spaces. So first what I usually do is try to see if I can find it by searching it up. Shift cipher, transition. So I'm gonna use this in pair with the cipher identifier to see if anything matches up or corroborates with each other. And usually, when a problem, each section in a problem is one cipher, and by looking at it too, they look similar. So what I'm gonna do is paste both of the text inside the cipher identifier, because the more text that it has, the better it will identify it. Or you're giving the AI a better time of figuring out what it is when you give it more text, rather just than one line, might as well use two. So we got skip, transposition, Caesar's box, skytoad, double trans. So yeah, these are a bunch of shift ciphers, or types of shift ciphers. So what I usually do is, I do like a really annoying process since I'm not really good with cryptography, and for the most part, everyone uses AI to try to identify it. And I had before where it was literally like I went through the whole list and it ended up being like this, like say like the second to last like cipher that was the answer to the problem. So it can be really tedious at times. And also a way to minimize that is going to other cipher sites as well. Like I'm not sure if CyberShip has a cipher identifier, but we could try it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they do. I'm gonna check back on the document actually to see if they have any other cipher identifying tools. They have Rumkin. So maybe not Rumkin. Doesn't even have. So if anything, we could try this to see if we get any similar results. So we didn't really get much. Yeah, didn't tell us anything. Let's see if they have any other things. Basically to see if we can find anything legible. This looks like this didn't work as well. Let's try just one line maybe. Okay, so those didn't work either. So we know it's not a simple shift because those are used for shifts and simple substitutions and shifts. So we can eliminate. Let's see what the skip cipher is. First, we can try it just to see. Then brute force just tries all possible combinations. Can we just try one line for now so it doesn't get confused? So didn't find anything. Let's try ignoring the spaces. Didn't find anything as well. Okay, so that didn't work. Transposition. Let's see if this is simple cipher. The only thing with this one is doesn't involve periods and dashes. So this may not, it's probably not gonna work, but just in case, let's see. Yeah. So Caesar box. I'm just gonna see if it has anything to do with spaces or dashes. So it doesn't, so I'm just not gonna even try at that point. And let's see the other ones. Because at the bottom they always come up with They always show examples. This one has underscores in it, so let's try this one real quick. Nah, that didn't work. Double print transposition. This may work. Let's see. Nah, I need a key, so that's definitely not gonna work. Substitution, I'm gonna need to do substitution myself. Yeah, it definitely won't be this one. They would have given us more information. Shift cipher. So before, I already tried a shift cipher, but just in case, we can try this one too. Or we could just brute force it for it to try all possible combinations. See if we get anything. Yeah, I don't see anything legible, so we can just skip that. This one does have to do with numbers, but it still has to do with numbers. And we don't need that. Dashes. This might be. Not this either. Let's try the other option just in case. Okay, nice. So this one actually works. So you saw it, it brute forced it, and we actually got the flag code here. Carriage grace under pressure. I guess we, for this problem, does it just act for the flag? Oh, it doesn't. Alright. So let's try this for care, see if it works. Nice, it does. So hopefully the other one worked too. Usually it can be the same cipher, but it's just a different iteration, like how raw has different shifts. Like there can be a route 13, there can be a route 5. So what this is nice is what you call it. It does it for you. It tries every instance. So let's try the second one to see if we can brute force as well, since they look similar. And yeah, it did. Nice. So we got that here. And there you go. Nice. That's how you do it. So yeah, that's kind of my way. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but that's kind of like my uh like like us. I guess how would you say it? Like slow and easy, like wins the race. As long as you take your time, and it is a bit annoying, but I mean it's always worked for me. So I mean, if anyone has any other ways that they solved it faster, feel free to let me know. But that's mainly how I go about cryptography problems with unknown ciphers. So yeah, and if anything, the more AI you can find, the better. So that's how I did that. So yeah, that's Crypto 5, and then you guys can do Crypto 6 on your own. So yeah, Crypto 6, and then Stego, and then the rest of these too. These should be pretty easy though. So now I'm gonna go over to password cracking. Let me just make sure I went over everything. Yeah. And then if you need help installing this on Kali, just let me know. Should be pretty straightforward though. You just download it, make sure it's in your downloads folder, and then you just launch it with the commands. I actually write it here to remind you guys. Just in case you guys forgot. So now we're going into password cracking. So basically password cracking is the process of obtaining plaintext passwords from passwords that are encrypted using various methods and programs. So we get things that are called hashes, and those are encrypted texts, which are stored in either programs or in the cloud or in hardware that identify like a user's password, but it's just hashed, so like outside people won't be able to break in. So it's encrypted with a certain algorithm, like as we see in cryptography. So cryptography and password cracking actually go hand in hand. You may see in some competitions that you do, it'll just be that you level cryptography, but you do some password cracking as well. So to start off, to learn about it, you can actually, they do some nice videos over here where they go over password cracking. They
Basically,
go
there's a
over what the hash
probability
and how it
that
works.
two completely random login. There's a second component by
They actually
Sol
explain what is cracking,
create
and they
my
do some demos too, which is
md5.txt,
nice.
and it will
Go over
show
hash
us
count.
all of the hashes that we put in here, and we can look at
They
it
do
here.
a bunch, like they
Digits, so
go over like some rules and like
pull
some different formats that you
21,
might be able
Punky
to,
13,
that you might be
7
using,
zip. There you can have an
which is nice. And then for this one, the competition and for future competitions, you're gonna need to know how to make your own
password
word
cracking
list.
is a
And this
there are a
is a
bunch of
nice video tutorial on how to
and
the
it's
best way to
not
go
going to be very
about
common
making your
for
own word
and it's
list
not
and
going to be
seeking
common.
another word list. Then I also have cheat sheets here. We're mainly going to be using Hashcat. We may use John the Ripper for some questions, but these cheat sheets are really nice because you're not going to remember everything. So it's a nice reference to look at it when you just forget like a certain attack method, or you just forgot how to input um, like a certain syntax, or either your syntax is wrong, or like you just forgot like how to run the command in general. And it even gives you some examples here, which is nice that you can use. I actually used one of these examples to help me solve a problem in the past. And then it gives you the common hash types as well, and like some things you can do, like if you need help on a certain command, you just do hashcat dash help and then grep and then the keyword. And yeah, it goes over all the options, gives like a brief definition, which is very cool. And the second cheat sheet is like kind of more in depth. Instead of just terms and definitions, it actually explains and gives you examples. So if the first cheat sheet doesn't help you and it's a bit confusing, the second one goes more into detail for people who are either new or just want a refresher, which is nice. So to demo, I'm gonna be doing the Pokemon. I'm gonna be doing the first one and also this Pokemon one that I know some people have been having trouble with. So for the first one, so the steps I take when I do password cracking is first I want to identify what I'm dealing with. First things first, we gotta read the prompt. So our analysts have obtained password dumps during storing hacker passwords. After obtaining a few plaintext passwords, it appears that they overlap with the passwords from the Rocky breach. So if you didn't know what the Rocky breach was, you can actually just search it up. And it just tells you here, Rocky breach is from a data breach resulting in exposure of 32 million user accounts. This led to hashes being released. And then you can check how many passwords were released. 14 million. And this is actually a word list that's available like everywhere. And then you can see here that Kali Links actually provides this dictionary file. And just a word of thought. If it doesn't say in the prompt that they use the Rocky Verweech, just always assume that they do. It's always the first list that I use when cracking passwords. Uh, only for the end. I'm not sure about other programs, but for the NCL they love to use the Rocky. I mean other competitions, but for the NCL they love to use the Rocky bre breach word list. And to find it, if you haven't unzipped it already, should be, so you start from here, file system, you'll type in user.share.wordlist. Then from here, since I already unzipped it and moved it, you'll have a text file that's here called like rocku.txt.gz. What you want to do is right click it, and then you want to extract it. There'll be an option here, but I can't do it with this since these are already plain text files. So what you want to do is extract here, and then you can just move it wherever you want to. Like you can send to, you can open with, so or you can just like move it like plain and simple. When it is a text file like this, and then you can just move it to download, so it's just easier. So that way you don't have to refer to user, share, word list. That's how you get access to that word list. So first things first, I need to identify what hashes I'm working with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all these hashes in the text document. And then I'm just gonna save this as hashes, downloads. And then I'm gonna go into my terminal and use the hash ID program. And what this basically does is identify different types of hashes for you. You can either identify like one type of hash or you can identify multiple, which is really cool so you don't have to like search it up yourself. So I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna first go into my downloads, hash ID, hashes. So now here it goes. It's giving me all the types. And usually for this competition, usually it's the first one that you want to go with, like the first hit. It goes in order to like most accurate to least accurate. But usually for this competition, they only use ND5 or like SHA-216 or whatever it's called. So they use the most common types and the most up to date. So whenever you see this instance where it's like ND2 and ND5, always go with the ND5. So now that I know that they're all MD5s, which is really nice because I can use the same program for all of them. Now I want to set up my hashcat program. And if anything, if you always forget the cheat sheet, just always use the man command. The man command just pulls up a manual for each program and even each command, which is really nice. So if you ever forget, you can do hashcat, pretty sure. Yeah. Then here it tells you how to show you the summary of the options and other commands it can do. But if we go to that hashcat dash dash help that I told us earlier, it gives us examples, workload profiles, but I need to worry about that. Built-in character sets, attack modes for debugging, formats, and it even tells you all the hashes. So now we want MD5. But instead of scrolling through the whole list, I'm just going to use the grep command to find out where MD5 is. Which attack am I need for MD5? So now I see here MD5, the raw hash, I need 0. Okay, cool. And we can actually use this example right here. If I want to use a word list with the MD5, I can do dash M0. It says word list plus rules. But I just want just the word list. I just want the attack mode just for the word list. So I'm just going to use the grep command again for the word list. Didn't give me here, so let's just check the rules. The help in general. So over here, this is a tag mode for just using a word list, which we just want to use because it told us over here that it's just from the Rocky Breach. So if we copy this, we just gotta change the attack mode though because this is using $P hash type, but we want the MD5, which is 0. Copy that here. Then I want to change this to 0. Then the format, how it goes, is you want to use a hash file. So I want to replace this with hashes. And then your word list. And then if you want, you can actually write your output to a certain text file by doing it, I'm pretty sure it's after the hashes. If anything, you can check the manual on how to do that. It's sorry. Yeah, output file. Yeah, you do dash O, the alpha file. You can put it at the beginning to make it easier. So if you're dealing with a lot of hashes, that way you can just pull up the alpha file and just look at all the passwords from there, but it tells you at the end, so that's why I don't really do it. I get pretty lazy. So we're just gonna let the system run and crack the hashes and see what we get. And just like that, we have cracked all the passwords. So if I go to input it here, just make sure you go in order too. Because sometimes it doesn't give you an order. So you see how my first hit was 32EF, E5F. It's actually the third problem, so just be careful with that. Because especially in this competition, you want to be accurate as possible, so you don't want to give up accuracy for a silly mistake like that. So you just want to match it up. So Joybird was 32EF5. EC 68 was this. 22 Skirgles. 65 was DD Mac. I'm just gonna type it here. Nice. That's ID cracking one. Now next. Okay. Oh, did not mean to do that. Alright, so for this one, let's read the prompt. Our NOs have attained password down story. Hacker passwords are 13 tweet tay. Here's they are based on Pokemon. Okay. So first I want to go through the same steps again. I want to make a text file. I'm gonna store all the hashes. Then I'm gonna identify what I'm working with. So I need to specify the attack mode. Which each attack mode comes with different algorithm used to see it decrypt it. So just make sure I got 5. Nice. I want to save this file as test2. Okay, cool. So let's figure out what I'm working with first. Oh no, I'm in the downloads folder. Okay, so remember as I said before, whenever you get this ND2, ND5, just always go with the ND5. Okay, nice, they're all ND5 again. For the easy and medium, they'll usually all be the same, but once you get to the hard one, there'll be different types. So it's always good to check first. So now that I know what I'm working with, and now I'm gonna use zero attack mode. So that's one part of the problem. I mean, yeah, mode. So it says these are based on Pokemon. So I need a word list that has all the Pokemon names in it. So before I make my own, let's see if GitHub has any. So I'm gonna type in Pokemon. Word list. Should start Pokemon word list. Actually, I'm gonna put GitHub because that's a better way of extracting the word list. Let's try this first one. Oh nice, so this one has 721 lines, so I think this should be more than enough. So what I'm gonna do now is copy the raw. Okay, so now I have the raw here. I'm gonna label this as Pokemon word list. Okay, so I'm gonna be using a word list. I'm gonna be cracking ND5s. So I want to use the zero attack mode because I'm using word list, and I want to use 0 for the M because I know it's ND5s. So let's open up the terminal. Make sure I'm in my downloads so I can access my word list. And I'm just gonna refer back to the other command line that I use. So test2 is where my hashes were, And I'm gonna be using the Pokemon word list. This is all hashes found. Let's see. Oh, nice. So we were able to get me all five. How many were there? One, two, three, four, five. So you know as before, it usually showed us the hashes there, but sometimes it doesn't. So what you can do, to show it real quick, is just to do the whole command again, and you don't have to type it out. Just make sure to press the up arrow on your keyboard, and then you just add dash dash show. And if you forget, it'll tell you like, see how I ran the command here again to see, because I was like, oh, I didn't realize it did it so fast. And I knew it cracked it because I looked over here and it said recovered 5 out of 5, and I put in 5 hashes, so that means I got all of them. If I didn't, it would have been like 4 out of 5 or something. It would have told me. And then, if anything, if you forget, it tells you here when you try to run the command again that all hashes are found. Use dash dash show to display them. And here I have it. So just remember that I think this one goes in order though, which is nice. So if anything, I'll just use the dash dash show commands after you complete password cracking because it's nice that they go in order unlike the other ones. So I have sometimes where I lose some accuracy points because I just get lazy and think they're all in order, and then they're not. So right now, I always have a habit double checking. And nice. Yeah, so that's password cracking 3. So see if you guys can do number 4 and number 5 on your own, even though they are pretty difficult. And just know for password cracking, you're not always gonna use Hashcat and the Ripper. So for this one, our Agnes have a team with the password dumps. Um, you see how this format is like pretty weird? So you may not be using Hashcat for this. So like just to give you an example, let's try to identify. So like to just like give you um to just lead you into the problem. Let's see. I'm gonna copy this. So this is MD5, but if we go to try it, serve Windows passwords, we don't have any prompts. Hmm. This is the same. Because I know for sure this is an MD5. Because if you want to try it, like the Rocky wordless, definitely won't get anything. Let's see. Alright, I was gonna like show how to decrypt one. I don't think I need this. See if it shows an error. So yeah, so even though it told us MD5, I tried the hash here and it said token length exception. No hash. So it means like, oh, like this is the right size for ND5. And if you go back to hash ID, you have all these others, but it already told us these are Windows passwords. So what I would do first is try to find out on my own without using the hash ID to see like what type of password this is. So I'll, how are our Windows flat hash? So see something completely different. So we see LM hash, empty hash. So we're gonna need a different password cracker. This hashcat does actually have it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have it. Alrighty, so let's see how to correct Windows passwords. So for this one, it's not the right format. So let's look at this to see what format we're dealing with. So we're dealing with element. Let's see how to correct. So I'll see if I can find a software tool that can help us. For he's already know the tool to correct it. I guess you can crash it on Hashcat too, but this program. So this is what it is. So this is already know. I guess I got cheating, but I was kind of like demonstrating how you would go into blind, because I didn't know how to do this before. So this is like the that process I want to do before to try to find it. So like first, so it's like the same concept, but just a different way of finding it each time. So first, trying to find out what hash it is. And then, since I didn't know how to run in hashcat, so apparently there is a way that I just haven't found out yet. But there's a program that literally just does it for you. And in terms of Windows passwords, and I find it way easier than hashcat. If you want to learn on your own how do you do it through hashcat, that would be on you, or I can learn and show you guys at one point. But the tool that we're going to be using is oafcrack. And then what I did to search this up, Windows Password Cracker tool, Kali Linux. And if you have a different type of password, I'll just use same format to see if it's on Kali Linux already, because that's why I mainly get everyone on Kali Linux, because there's so many tools available on here already that you don't need to download on your own. If you see here, and it's called oafcrack. So oafcrack, Windows password, and we see here LM and T hash, which is what we have here, as we identified through this website. You see how it looks? It has the first hash and then semicolon and that hash. Exactly how R looks here. And it even told us here it's a Windows password. So you would use this tool. And it even tells you how to install it. Then it gives you the manual. And then to launch this program, all you do is just type in oafcrack. And then from there, it'll show you how to download it. And if you ever need any help, it has a link to the homepage. And then as support, development, and then here are the word lists that you're going to be using with this. Then if you need help download the word list, just let me know. Just be careful because this does not work in Windows 11 yet. Yeah, it's only 7, 8, 10 supporting, but you can also, it already comes pre-installed kind of thing, so if you have Windows 11, I'll just load it up on your virtual machine. And these are the word lists that you're going to be using. You download these, and then how do you go? You go inside the tool where it says tables over here. I'll just demonstrate for you guys. Go to tables, and then for a table that you want to use, you would go, you have to be very specific, so if you download the XP free small, make sure you're highlighting the XP free small table and you click install, and you'll download the file, it comes as a zip, and then when you unzip it, you go to where you unzipped it, and then you click it, and then you just have to click the folder, and then it'll open the contents for you and load it in, and then it'll say, instead of green, it'll be, uh, instead of red, it'll be green. That's how you do it. But if you need any help, just let me know. And then to load the hashes, you can actually load it as a file, and then you just click the file that you want to do, or you can load it in single. You just type it here. That's the same format, so give me an example. Do that. And there you go. That did load weird. I copy something else. Oh no, it should be good. I don't know why it looks like that at the end, but yeah, it's how you load up, and then you guys can try it on your own. If anything, here's the solution guide, and if anything, DM me on Discord. So yeah, that's about it for the video. I hope this helped, and let me know your feedback on if you find these really helpful, or if you just want me to release a document and you guys like their videos more. I'm open to any type of criticism. So yeah, best of luck in the problems, and um, I've been checking up with people here and there just to make sure everyone's been doing problems here and there, but don't feel rushed to do it. Definitely gotta take your time. I know you're all busy, but just make sure to get it done at some point so you aren't overwhelmed when we get through all the other modules. But yeah, hope everyone has a nice weekend.